Good evening, welcome back. It's us again, and you are watching something very special. It's Crazio Terran, still under construction, and well, I think we're just going to have to watch and see what it's all about. Starting with the depot, and you can't go wrong there, as is demonstrated by Zeta as well, starting with the depot and then a barracks. And Crazio's going for a barracks as well, and a quick refinery, and the same can be seen over here. So yeah, so far so good. Scouting SCV is still there, and it's taking two SCVs, or at least one, on a bit of a goose chase, and will take some damage probably. Oh, the Marine will kill it. Or will it? Oh, getting off a lot of scouting information, that's pretty good. Sees the factory. Well, of course you can't see it's a factory, but a bot can. In the game you will be able to select it and see it's a factory. Crazio going for a factory as well and sending the barracks over to have a bit of a look at the rest of the map. And Zeta is going for, I think, a bunker. Yes, so going to play it a little bit safe. Crazio going for a vulture, so that's good. Zeta going for a vulture of its own. And of course with the bunker over here, that will allow it to take a quick natural. Vulture is going after the SCV but forgets it once it's up the ramp. And now Crazio, what are you going to do? Double factory, double machine shop. So a little bit different than what Zeta's doing. Zeta has got the same number of workers, but will have access to more. But you can see that the production capacity of Crazio is double right now, and Crazio has got the machine shop and siege mode, and I think that Zeta is looking to do the same, because there is a siege tank already, second factory on the build, and Crazio is going to move out. Now let's see if the vulture will spot it, so I think Zeta should know what's coming up, and these units are going to be an SCV coming up. Interesting movement. APM for Crazio not all that high. And I think, yes, that vulture is going to be sniped. Now it's 15 versus 5 army supply, but there are 2 siege tanks. And Zeta does have the air side advantage for the time being. And that means that Crazio is sort of stuck, and Crazio takes the opportunity to take a natural. Going to start increasing the speed of the game a little bit, because it's going to be a long game by the looks of it. Oh, Crazio losing a tank, and now the army supplies are getting evener and evener, and Zeta has got a good position over here. Lots of sieges and sieges going on at Crazio's, and Crazio's naturals up and running as well. So despite the different routes, both players are somehow rather balanced. A wraith coming out of Zeta, but there are some Goliaths on both sides, and this is looking to be a very mature TVT. Crazio is not as keen on the repair as Zeta, so that might not be of benefit later on. There is an SCV, but it's just not going out of its way to... and now the factory will have to be redrawn because it's damaged. And Zeta is trying to keep those floating buildings out of the way and get some air cover in as well. Crazio, meanwhile, starting third, so macro-wise, Crazio's on the bounce, and not really getting too much done. These wraiths, now 3 of them with the repaired barracks, provide some excellent air scouting for Zeta, and these buildings are getting pretty low. With 3 wraiths, the damage output is quite substantial, and Zeta will now try, while the barracks is being repaired by Crazio, when Crazio brought a wraith of its own. So this is as much a mirror match as can be. Zeta starting the base out over here, Crazio only defending with turrets, and Zeta will keep a handful of units everywhere. So although Zeta has got a little bit of an army supply advantage here in the field, the composition is about similar, and it's a nice standoff. So what will happen next? Crazio with the third, Zeta will probably the fourth. Crazio, Zeta will probably start 1-2. Let's have a look at the upgrades. The wraiths of Zeta are doing a lot of damage, and Zeta can snipe a number of tanks because of that. And without Goliaths in position, the tanks are taking a lot of fire as well. So Zeta is on the rise, and Crazio has got some issues placing a Goliath over here, and will have to cycle his floating buildings to keep air cover up, but is losing damage and only has got one SCV over here. So now you can see SSCAIT is pushing, and SSCAIT is getting away with it because Crazio's air cover and anti-air are too far at the front or at the top and not at the bottom, and all the tanks are in siege. So SSCAIT is moving out, but more tanks are arriving on the scene of the battle, and now the choke advantage is Crazio's, and now the Goliaths are coming back into play. I don't know why they keep so much distance. It's not really necessary, but Crazio's tanks do take a bit of a pummeling. Oh, with a lucky shot, Crazio cleans up the tanks which are stationed over here and has now gotten control of the bridges again. SSCAIT meanwhile still hasn't got a fourth, while Crazio has got the fourth up and running and the fifth started. And oh, I was hoping for a silo, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately. Small peek at the upgrades. You can see that SSCAIT has got the +1 weapons range. It's working on +1 weapons. Crazio got +1/+1, and is now getting air upgrades and also the weapons for air units for +2. I mean, and it looks like SSCAIT is getting ahead because it's pushing, but then again it can't really get too much done, and Crazio taking yet another base with a lot of turrets, and there is virtually no harass. SSCAIT moving out with a handful of supporting units. The tank count of Crazio is pretty much depressed, but so is SSCAIT's, and SSCAIT can't really get anything done. The main is mined out. The dropships are there. They haven't been well, dropping stuff, so that's... look at this number of factories, that's quite a lot. SSCAIT is now moving out, has broken the position of Crazio. Crazio with the supporting units on top and some tanks over here. Of course, it's much simpler to attack in a point or in a line, as SSCAIT is doing. If you've got to contain, ideally you would have to make sure there's anti-air here as well, and there are tanks up here to prevent these vultures to do too much damage. Crazio though has got a handful of supporting units doing a lot of damage with the wraiths overhead, so SSCAIT isn't really comfortable in pushing up with the vultures over here, while the tanks of Crazio with the science vessel now, ooh, and the matrix are doing quite well, but the wraiths of SSCAIT are doing quite well. Natural is getting low, no fourth, and ooh, this base is completely exposed. SSCAIT is going to wreck it, if only by sending out 2 vultures, and this tank is going out of its way to kill 1-2 marines, and now Crazio sending out 2 wraiths to dispatch the tank. But this base is completely gutted by only 2 Goliaths, and that's a bit of a shame. Same is happening over here, but then with 2 vultures, and still there is only 1 wraith to try and clean it up. But there is still a vulture out there, and 1 wraith is going after the mines. That's not good prioritizing. And SSCAIT is getting some air. And you can see SSCAIT is still in this game despite having only 1 mining base. Crazio just lifted this drop coming in. That's a bit of a waste. But oh, I just missed that. Because the base was already down. But Crazio is feeling the heat and has got a very interesting placement of a starport. So what's interesting about Crazio is that it's got very few factories. There is only 1, 2, 3. It's got a lot of money. Army supply is, well, it's basically maxed, but still it hasn't got all the production capacity it would want. It's building 1 factory now, but all in all I think that Crazio is well in control of this game, if only because SSCAIT doesn't really want to expand anymore, and the natural's out, the main is out, and although SSCAIT has got this under control and Crazio is trying to defend with a handful of wraiths, which is rubbish, it's SSCAIT doing great, and if only SSCAIT could have taken that 4th, it would be in a much better shape. The harass is good too, because Crazio hasn't got a thing to defend. All the forces are set up in the main, and only now is he sending out some units, and it's going to be a siege and contain, but if units are damaging your economy, you will have to... oh, the wraiths finally clean it up. Not too many comsats or scans left for SSCAIT. But you will need to make a little bit bigger of a strike force. And now though Crazio is well in control of the main, it is a standoff with this continuous back and forth with air units and siege tank fire, which is not really I would have liked to see some drop play or battle cruisers or anything like that, but it seems like this is going to be the game of TVT, and a grand game it is. And Seda is finally taking another base, and that's right on time, because this one's getting low as well, and still keeping some units. Oh, that was a little bit of an incursion by the Wraiths, but meanwhile there are so many comsats that doesn't really matter anymore. The dropships are getting loaded once again. The thing is that the tagline of Seda's, oh, it's still holding. It is still holding, and where are the dropships? Oh, the dropships are still over here, still hovering. Crazio retaking this base, and rebuilding barracks, units, buildings all over the place. That's pretty funky, but Seda has got this base up and running, and now has got a 2 base company. This bit of siege tanks, though, at the front, at the top end, is quite exposed, and Crazio's Wraith, as did Seda's Wraith earlier, are doing a lot of damage, and right so, because Seda just dropped this base again. Crazio just does not learn, and hasn't got an effective striking force to deal with this. Well, it's not really a big drop, but with all the anti-air there is in 2 Goliaths, it's quite costly to attack that with Wraiths. Oh, and 1 Goliath has made it all the way up to here. He is going to be shut down, but Crazio is not really in the best economic position either. It's got 1 base, this base is sort of shut down, this base just got looted again, and only this one's still really mining. But all in all, Crazio is doing great, is maxed, has got the bank, and well, with all the Wraiths, how many Wraiths do you need? Good God. That is, come the battle cruisers, take out 1 or 2 Goliaths, kill the rest with Wraiths, and Bob's your uncle. But this standoff will need to be sped up a little bit more, because, well, it's quite heavy. And now Crazio's Wraiths are on the loose again. Seda defending with a couple of Goliaths, but the scans are out, and Crazio, ooh, just in time retreats, tries to get things done. Another drop is prepping, and Crazio had better take a look at where that drop is going. It's now going it's going back to here again. Is it going to drop this base? Yes, it is. There are Wraiths over there, and now Crazio should pounce on that. And 2 Wraiths and a dropship will fall. And now, the dropships, that is a bit of loss, and this one will be shot down as well. So Crazio in control, and how many Wraiths will it have? Seda's got 3, Crazio's got 17 Wraiths, that's quite a lot. And the anti-air of Seda is faltering, the repair isn't all there anymore, and Seda is really feeling the pressure. Crazio should retake this base, because, well, it's still mining off 3 bases. Oh, and Seda just took this one. It's mineral only though, so that's going to not going to put too much money in its pocket. Speed it up. This standoff still going with the repairs of these floating buildings, with the science vessels from both sides. Matrix is going down, and it's just one big hullabaloo of, well, it's like World War I, but then with tanks and no infantry. Thank God there isn't any infantry with all these tanks about though, but Crazio mulling about with the Wraiths now has got this base under control, and the Wraiths will now somewhat quicker clean it up. And what the hell is Crazio going to do with all these barracks? That's going to be an interesting question to be answered. There is 1 Wraith over here killing science vessels, depots, and all these barracks, I really wonder what they're for. Now Crazio still has got the contain, still's got the supply lead, but hasn't got anything in the way of harass. Is trying to get things done over here. Oh, and finally, oh dear, how do I get out of this? I need to... Oh, finally. There is a battle cruiser. I lost it because my game got stuck, and now Crazio's out on the map with battle cruisers. And you see some Yamatos going off. Crazio has got a lot of upgrades, has got Yamato, not the energy upgrade, and even though without the Yamato, these battle cruisers are doing pretty well, and they can even take on the Goliaths over here. They should do so in a little bit of a pack, because they're taking an awful lot of damage, because they're coming in 1 at a time, and if they came in 4 at a time it would be much better, but still it's battle cruisers, and Seda is, well, struggling right now. The battle cruisers are doing a lot of damage, and occasionally they will do a Yamato blast on some hapless tank or Goliath, and that is going to be a little bit hurtful. And you can see Seda is suffering. The army supply is going down. That also may have something to do with Seda being mined out. Only one mineral only, and that's not bringing any dough at the moment. Crazier's got the last mining base, protecting it with battle cruisers, and got a bit of money in the bank still. So yes, this was a macro victory, and now the battle cruisers are on a rampage in the main base of, and I don't know why battle cruisers are running from a single Goliath. They can just kill it. And Seda is struggling to stay in the game. Battle cruisers over here are doing okay, but the real problem, oh look at that contain. If you look at the minimap, it's such a beautiful arc. And Seda and Kratos got production all over the map. That's pretty wacky, but oh, and these barracks over here as well. But all Seda's base is burning, and Crazio, oh, with the battle cruiser here in the top right, is doing a lot of damage, and Seda has got 40 army supply. This pocket of tanks is being overrun, defense notwithstanding, the matrix notwithstanding, and trying to repair what there is, but there is just not enough, and the battle cruisers are all over it. Army composition for Crazio right now is 11 battle cruisers, 17 tanks, 4 raids, and that is quite deadly, as you can see here. Still, there are 2 Goliaths, making the life of these 2 battle cruisers quite miserable. I don't know why. They could just take them on, kill the wounded one first, and then be done with it. But Crazio has got, oh, here comes the cavalry. More battle cruisers being sent in. And this is quite a fleet of battle cruisers. So, finally, although it took a while, we did get to see battle cruisers, and they were kind of decisive in running the game away from Seda. And Crazio, oh, there are the Marines, and I think that's Crazy's building 2 more starports somewhere. So yeah, there we go. Crazio Terran, watch for it. It's going to be great once it comes back onto the ladder. And well, let me show you another game of Seda, because I was sent this by Microwave, really, and well, usually that means that Microwave played really, really well. So, scouting drone going off, and Seda just doing its thing, being happy, making Marines. And will it go and play Bio this game? I really wonder about that. Microwave going for the expansion, has got the pool, very quick lair, and a Hydra Den. And this is something that, as an AI, you'd really want to stop these days, because if you just let one scouting SCV get all the information it can out of your base, it's quite a... You shouldn't really want to do that. Now, vultures are out on the map. Seda, starting the natural, has got the protection up with the bunker and 2 turrets. Oh, and now look at these Hydras expertly cleaning up all the mines. And right now it's back to the bunker. And I think the bunker will be able to hold the Hydras. But, oh, there is no Lurker S-Pact, so that's... If you are going for a quick lair and the Hydra Den, I assume you are going to go for Lurkers, but that's not the case, and the scouting SCV is still there, so I think that is a bit of a disadvantage, having a scouting SCV so right in the middle of your main base, seeing all the technology and just not doing anything about it. And Microwave is not making any units at all. The worker count is okay, but it's at about half the supply of Seda. Seda has got tanks, has got vultures, has got all the appropriate upgrades, and Microwave is building some kind of a Hydra upgraded Hydra thing. Has got quite a number of Sunkens in the main. That's strange, but perhaps it's expecting drops. And the Hydra count is increasing. Now Seda, oh, how does it see that? With because of the barracks are still over here. Hydras take one full in the snout. And Seda is going for a third, which Microwave might easily stop with a handful of Hydras. And Seda, Microwave's taking a third as well. So there you go, the Hydras are still clumping up right in front of the Terran base, and oh, take out the bunker because no one's defending it. What the hell is Seda doing? All the units are stuck here in the choke. They cannot be blocked in by the turret. That's... oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, that's just not good at all. Poor Seda. about to lose the natural because it's walled in. And the Hydras are just taking their sweet time picking apart SCVs. And oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, the third is constructed. And SSCAIT is going to have to play like hell to come back from this. That is assuming that these Hydras will kill the turret. Oh, that was pretty hurtful. Oh, and finally the units are getting unstuck. At least some of them are able to move out. And SSCAIT is immediately trying to repair that command center. It has got to, so eco-wise it should be okay. But still the fact remains that this turret is in a very awkward position. And Microwave is going for a fourth base, which is not a bad decision. And I thought I put the cat. No, it's Mutas, and that's cool too. Oh, and Microwave now finds the third base, and still the army of SSCAIT can't do anything. It's bigger and better than that of Microwave. And Microwave completely on the loose on the map. Oh, some Mutas did make it out. They are sort of floating out, and once in a while a unit may escape, but I fear that it's not going to be enough. The Natural's up and running, and there are some siege tanks out, so I think that the Hydra army will have its work cut out for it if it's going to try and... Oh, look at the tank blast from the rear. That's going to be quite painful. And now SSCAIT is re-establishing itself on the map, still has got the bigger army. Microwave, though, is expanding like crazy, and what's it building? It's still not building any army. Well, a handful of Mutas, Zerglings, Queen's Nest Overlords, and another hatch. And SSCAIT, poor SSCAIT, is, well, rather stuck on this one base. It's not building SCVs, it's only mining with about 3 or 4 over here. And killing some stray Zerg units every once in a while. And you can see these tanks doing pretty well. The Muta count, oh god, that's a large cloud. We've got 16 Mutas, and they're taking on Goliaths in a straight-up fight, which is, well, defeating their numbers somewhat more rapidly than as a Zerg player you'd ideally want to see. But Microwave has got the map anyway, and the scouting SCV is still there. Oh, and there is a hive coming. So, yeah, all in all, let this not be a reflection on SSCAIT, because SSCAIT is still the uncontested #1 at the ladder at the moment. But it's just sort of walled itself in, and I really like to see an update of SSCAIT, and like to see Microwave, no Cherry Pie back on the ladder as well. Now, oh god, the mine and the tank hits. Oh, 2 more tanks escaped, that's good. Still though, I feel that Microwave is going to explode on the map. It's got 80 workers, so the game of drones has really commenced. And the army supply is about equal to that of SSCAIT, and of course it should be noted that SSCAIT can't really get out of its base. Still money left in the main. That's good. And still it's Zerglings and Hydras out on the map for no good reason at all. And I know that Icelab has got the capacity to kill pre-programmed buildings to let itself out of its walled-off situation sometimes. But SSCAIT obviously hasn't got that code. And for a player with absolute map control, I think that Microwave is taking its sweet time. It's got 2k minerals and 0 gas. And it's mining gas everywhere, so where the hell is it spending all its gas on? That? Okay, small peak, lots of building, lots and lots of Mutas. All the upgrades you'd want, no special technology. But the Muta Cloud, oh god, how many have we got? We've got 40 Mutas. And that is a lot of damage, but there are also about 26 Goliaths, and they've got a lot of firepower and a lot of range, so I don't think, even if you have got this number of Mutas, that you'd want to get in there and do so much mutaing. But more Mutas are coming. They have got decent upgrades, +1. I don't know, +1 attack. That's... oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And now the Natural's populated because the main is out. And still, oh, that's a worker train right there for you. No third base for SSCAIT. And oh god, look at the damage being done. The Muta count, it's 43. And let's see them coming in once again. One scan would do so much damage right there. Oh, one... there are only one Muta lost, that's pretty good. 45 Mutas in the cloud. And in a standoff versus 35 Goliaths. What the hell is this? Microwave is, well, it's not really building anything because it's basically maxed. And Seda is, what's Seda doing? Seda is building Goliaths because it sees that air threat. And the air threat is doing okay. Look at the damage output from these from the Goliaths, and meter count is dropping. Upgrade wise, it's +3 weapons with the range. And now Microwave on 50 meters, that's 100 army supply just in meters, all in one cloud. And just going for the straight up fight. And even though there are a hell of a lot of Goliaths, and the Goliaths are still bringing it back from the brink of death. 15, 16 left, more being built. And oh, the third has been taken, still the turret's in place, so Microwave now with the Zerglings cleaning up the third, cleaning up the natural. The mutants are here this time. And still Seda has got a respectable army here right in the main. Problem is that it's going to run out of money. The Goliath count is pretty good. And even if these mutants have got the +3, they've got +3 weapons, haven't got the damage. Microwave is going to do this by playing straight up Muta. What's it building? Oh, it's building high. It's switching back into Hydras. That's good. Oh, and finally the turret broke and all the gay. Okay. GG! Let's hop into the next game. And let's have a good Zerg versus Zerg. It's Proxy versus Arakhammer. And Proxy's doing quite well, and I need to show you this probably, because this is the ELO rating as it is right now. You've got Seda at nearly 2,600, and the Q is doing very good, of course, with that Cheese build versus Seda still in place. Purple Wave coming about, well, 80 points behind that, and then it's a long way down to Crazier, Protoss, Ironbot, Banana Brain, Microwave, and between Microwave and Seda, that's almost 200 points. Or actually, that's more than 200 points. Wow, that's quite crazy. And then Proxy and Killabot and McRave, so they're all doing good. But a really interesting thing is that Seda and Locutus are still dishing out the damage together. But then again, Proxy right behind Microwave. So I thought, well, let's have a look at Proxy and versus Arakhammer, which is pretty devious at playing Zerg versus Zerg. So yeah, there you go. Oh, I need to... Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here, but the Zerglings are coming in, and there is just nothing here for Proxy. But for some reason, Arakhammer is fleeing, and I really wonder why that is. So the tug of war between 10 and 10 Zerglings, or 10 and 9 right now, and Proxy is losing some to Arakhammer. But with the Sunken and the Defender's Advantage, it's doing pretty well. And Proxy... Oh, well, Arakhammer is going for a quick lair, while Proxy is going for a second hatch. We'll have superior numbers. Both have got speed, no other upgrades. Not like Killabot with the +1 weapons. And Overlord right on top of this base. Worker count is 10 for Arakhammer, and that may seem insignificant, but in a Zerg versus Zerg, it's these little things which eventually will win or lose you the game. And now you can see Proxy with the increased Zergling numbers, but there are two Sunkers in a decent position, so that's pretty good. And this looks like a Spire, so Arakhammer just needs to hold on a little bit more. Has got a nice concave, but the power of Proxy is just too great. Too many Zerglings, but with two Sunkens right in the rear, even though all the Lings of Arakhammers are dead, I think it's okay. And right now, if this is going to be a natural, that's going to be pretty late, because the Spire will be done momentarily. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And Proxy had better get some anti-air right quick, or do a run by. Oh, it's killing some workers, that's good. Arakhammer now at 10 workers. There is a Spire. Oh, and one Sunken is down. The second Sunken will just... Oh, the Lings run because there are two Lings coming in. And will they kill the drone? No, it's 17 versus 9 workers right now. And these... Oh, what are these drones going to do? Still... Oh, there is one Muta now. But one Muta does not summer make. And a Proxy has got... is going for yet another hatchery, and has got a lot of Lings on the map. So going to kill the Ling and going to kill the expansion as well. And this one Muta is... Oh, two Mutas now, that's good. That's may not be a summer either, but maybe spring. And the Lings, they do run from 2 Mutas. Lots of Lings all over the place, lots of workers, but there is no anti-air whatsoever for Proxy. And although you've got quite an economic advantage, in the end there will be just too many Mutas, and there may well be more. And you can see now, oh dear, the workers are under attack, the Lings can't do a thing to defend, and they should just go out on the map to kill, but they, for some reason, they are being kept at home to try and stop the Mutas, which is not good. And you can see Eric Hammer making more Mutas. And Proxy is just making hatches, completely ignoring what's happening in the game. And you can see that the army supplies, well, it's in favor of Proxy, but the army value with the air units of Eric Hammers. Now with 2 Sunkens up over here, the Lings are there, that's good. But right now there are so many Mutas that the Lings don't have the staying power. They've got very few hit points. And Proxy just can't be bothered to make any Hydra or a Spore or anything like that. And yeah, that's the game probably. Because right now you've got 8 Mutas versus 2 Zerglings, and that's that. As they say, one more base left for Proxy, but it's been found and killed. So, good game. Proxy doing pretty well. Should pay some attention to Zerg versus Zerg, though. Now let's have a good game of Willy T versus Marion Diveka and the boss called Killer. The map, of course, is Python in the form of this snake. Very cute. Very nice successor, one of the successors to Lost Temple. And Willy T going for a bunker. And I think you can't go wrong there as a Terran, because if you are going to play a bio, one bunker will do you a lot of good. Perhaps build a depot and the barracks, so you'll have a bit of a gate, but I can't see the early game going wrong here. And this looks like it's going to be a bio push with... oh dear, there are going to be workers and all. There is only 1 Sunken. Yeah, and there are no Sunkens left now. Killerbot going for... oh, the Mutas are quite good at picking up stuff, but they need to save the lair, but they don't really dare to. But now 1 more Muta will join up, and look at how good these Mutas are in picking off the Marines. But still there are fire bats and medics with stim moving into your main, but now all the anti-air is gone. And there is 1 Sunken left, so Killerbot sort of okay, has got 6 Mutas, but look at the power of death raining down from these 6 Mutas. That's really magnificent. And that is going to be a very... is that a lair? No, that's a lair, and that's the spire. And now the Mutas are loose in the main. 1 dies, there are turrets, and now they're sort of stuck. And you can see that these the Muta count 6 is a very good number, and now they're getting caught between 2 turrets, and they don't dare... oh, 3 turrets. And I think that this will be the last we'll see of these Mutas. They do make their exit, and they should just go and recuperate somewhere. Killerbot taking the advantage of the temporary map control. Oh, and these Mutas are working very hard for that, for keeping Willy T in his base. Oh, 1 dies, because it was imperative that some shots be landed on this poor hapless depot. But Killer has got the natural up again, is bringing some drones down, and has got quite a good drone count for a player which natural just has been raided. And the Mutas are keeping on top of the Terran, just harassing it everywhere they can, and not taking a little bit too much damage, but sorry, compared to other Zerg players, Killer's Muta Micro is, I think it's still the best. And that's saying something, because it was a long time ago since this Zerg received his last update. And it should perhaps cycle out its wounded Mutas. But look at the damage raining down on Willy T. Willy T going for the natural, I think that's good. The Mutas aren't there at the moment. More Mutas are coming though, and if this Muta cloud is grown into a big cloud, there is no range for these Marines, and that is going to be quite costly. And right now we've got 10 Mutas, so they can pack quite a punch. Have they got any upgrades? No, they haven't. Killerbot is just getting a bit confused on, but now, oh, look at that. All the So much damage being done by the Mutas, and the Marine count is just not there. There should be turrets to augment the firepower, and seeing if you can withstand this Muta pressure. The Muta's getting a little bit too deep into the turrets to kill some Marines. I don't think that's worth it. Should rather pick up the fire bat or kill here, or sweep around the natural and do something about that. But all in all, Willy T just can't get those Mutas out of its throat. And with 2 barracks, it's sending out the Marines one at a time, and that's not good. Killerbot now has got 12 Mutas, going to speed it up just a tiny little notch. More Mutas, and that is basically all that there is coming out of Killerbot. Occasional drone mixed in, I like that, because the worker count's not all that high, but right now Willy T has got 5 workers, the last turrets are being dismantled, and that was the main base. The natural's still there, but there was nothing mining, there was no more money. And Killerbot just going for the kill, only making Mutas right now. And yeah, as they say, that's that. GG. What a monster. And let's see if Zer can fight a similarly good fight versus McRave. McRave, well, is finding itself in a difficult position with all these top Protoss like Locutus and Purple Wave right ahead of it. And if you look at the ranking, you've got Locutus, Purple Wave, Crazio, Protoss, Banana Brain, and then McRave, and of course Chimerabot is, or has got some Protoss, but doesn't really count. TCMU Protoss doing good as well, but the gap between McRave at 2,316 and the next one, that's 75 points, and compared to Locutus, that's quite a long stretch. So work to be done. And of course, there's no shame being number 6 of the 7 of the ranking. But it's going to be a hard fight. And I thought, well, why not have good old Zer play a game? Of course, the games are being played. It just took the replay. And let's see what's going down. We've got a number of Hydras. And they're going after the Zealots. Hydras have got the speed upgrade, so they will be able to out-micro the Zealots. Oh, and +1 air attack coming in. We are going to have some Corsairs, which is, I think is good. We'll keep the Zerg on its toe. And if they find their way around the back, they are going to be able to kill some Overlords, especially if the Hydras just don't give a damn and are going to march straight on to the natural. Oh, and do a lot of damage there. Good morning, sir. Point though is that Zer is supply blocked, and that's not going to be lifted anytime soon, as there will be more Corsairs, and +1 will be finishing. So, yeah, that's interesting. The Hydras now have to come back to try and stop these Corsairs. The Corsairs, though, will move out of the way right quick. And they may kill this exposed Overlord as well. And Zer is having the devil of a job as building Overlords for what it can. Gas is stacking up. And right now, I think that these Corsairs are a little bit too modern. Look at all the Overlord kills, good lord. Too modern from those Zerg, and the Zerg should just either keep a squad of Hydras at home to protect the Overlord or build a Spore, but now you can see these Overlords are abandoned again, and these Corsairs, 4 of them with +1 weapons, are just doing a lot of damage, and I've got this nasty feeling that Zer will be supply blocked again, and at least these Hydras, part of them just keeps mucking about here, and the natural could have been overrun, well actually is overrun, because McRave has only got these Corsairs and the odd Zealot or 2. So these Corsairs are keeping McRave in the game, and the Overlords are getting so much damage inflicted on them. It's basically very simple, just keep them in one place, preferably here, post some Hydras there, and Bob's your uncle. But that's higher Zerg tactics, and now the God, oh god, here goes another one. And that is really that in-game learning, which is so hard to do for an AI, to see, well, what's actually happening, what's posing that threat. It's a flying unit with a lot of damage, but no anti-ground, so if I make a source of damage which sort of kills them and be done with it, or perhaps just get Overlord speed, that might help as well. Oh, Dark Templar coming up. And Normal Templar as well. And meanwhile, how many Corsairs we've got? We've got 9 Sairs, more coming. So, well, Zerg is really struggling at this point, and this Dark Templar, High Templar, is standing there with storms in it. but it's not going to bother to cast any. And now Zer is still losing overalls. So many overalls lost. That's really insane. The Corsair count just lost a member. And now a Dark Templar, 2 Dark Templars are coming up. And Storm! No, probably not. Storm! Please! It's ready. Clump of Hydras and Overlords over here. Please cast it. Oh well. Can't have it all. Storm! 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 Oh well, let the Zealots do it. That's more sporting anyway. Meanwhile, the Corsairs rove the Overlords again, and the DTs and the Zealots sort of clean up the Hydras, but there again, I don't know what's happening with these High Templar. They sort of don't know what to do with a Hydra. Must be 2 storms in that. Even with good dodging, you might do a lot of damage to a pack of Hydras like this. But McGrave is just going to do it all with the Corsairs and the infantry. And the artillery will just not come into play. Corsair count is now 10. Oh, and a lot of cannons for protecting. And that is a goofy build order by McGrave, but it's working. And these Corsairs are just way too much. Zer supply blocked again. And the High Templar just not storming again. Oh dear, McGrave being pretty deadly about it. And Zer, well, deal with the Corsairs first and then try and deal with the ground forces later. For now, that's a GG. And I thought, well, how about a good PVT? Or PVR, really. It's Purple Destiny, that's the new random bot by Dan. And it's going to be quite interesting. The opposition is being played by Halpan as the Yellow Terran. Halpan, working hard, took the upgraded Iron Bot for some new modifications, and let's see how that's going to pan out. Going for a quick factory, floating the barracks, just messing up the door over here, while Purple Destiny is going for a racks, 2 depots in a strange place, is going to build a factory over here, and I think it's going to make sure that nothing is going to enter the main base for scouting purposes. That's good. Yeah, what can you say about that? Sometimes you suspect some kind of cheese, but then again, as a rule, you don't want to have any enemy scouts in your base. Oh, and Purple Destiny is going to play a couple of vultures, while Halpan has got, is going for tanks and siege mode. That's pretty nifty, but the natural for Purple Destiny is up already, and Halpan is losing some units. Have we got any vulture upgrades for Destiny? No, we haven't. Oh, and there you go, that is some kind of cheese, and the first raid is going out on the map immediately. It may be a valid consideration of waiting until you've got 2 or 3 or 4 raids, just to make sure. And where now is that raid? Oh, it's over here. It's coming around the back, and it's coming out to help here with killing the tanks. There are 2 now. Killing the SCVs first, 3 raids, and I think that's pretty decently done. The tanks haven't got any kind of air support, and I don't know if there is an armory at all. So right now the only anti-air is Marines, and there aren't all that many of those. So the raids are doing a lot of damage. We saw that in Seda vs Crazio as well. It's such an underestimated unit. It's hard to use, it's very fragile, but it's got decent damage, and it's very mobile. So there you go, going after another tank. And although Halpan is investing heavily in tanks, there aren't any tanks on the map, and the vultures with the raids are keeping Iron's units locked up in the base. And that vulture just can't run. And look at how much damage these raids do with the occasional pot shots at these flying buildings. Halpan now has got the natural up and running. Oh, hello there. That wasn't expected. So that was some heavy cheese, keeping the enemy scout out of your base. Handful of raids into battle cruisers. And is there an armory now? No, Halpan just completely ignores what's happening on the map, and is going to have the scare of its life, at least if these battle cruisers don't turn around. Perhaps they're going to wait until there are 4. There are 3 starports now. Good heavens, how many? Oh, that... and a lot of factories coming up as well. What is... Purple Destiny is going completely berserk on this map and is now rolling up Halpan with relative and devastating ease. We've got Wraiths, Vultures and Battlecruisers in the natural. There is no anti-air whatsoever. There isn't even... Halpan never thought of building an armory to build some Goliaths or build some Wraiths of his own. And right now, no unit is going to exit that base ever again. There are 4 Battlecruisers, 5 Battlecruisers already. And, oh, finally, some more normal units are coming up. No 4th base yet for Destiny. Oh, there it is. It's getting scanned, but, well, what do you know? It's, this is over. There are 4 versus 64 workers right now in yellow Halpan's base. There are more Battlecruisers than SCVs. So, yeah. What can you say to that? That's quite devastating. And that's the game. That was a good one. So next game up, a little bit, well, not the same tire as Halpan and Purple Wave, or Purple Destiny I should say. It's Simplicity versus Hannes Bradberg. Hannes Bradberg received an update, and of course it's the nuke bot, so will be interesting to see how that goes. Simplicity all impresses with drop play, and then lay off drop play for a bit. Going to play rather defensive with a handful of Zerglings, 2 Sunkens, and that's about it. I think it's fearing a Sunken bust, and of course you need Sunkens for that. And now you can see that Bradberg is going for the Academy, has got a lot of Marines already. And of 2 bases you can play a lot of Marines, so far so good. And I'd like to see Bio played more in Terran vs Zerg. This is quite dangerous, as you are just a bunch of Marines with no upgrades and no medics. Oh, well, the range is done. Stim isn't. There are no medics. So, although the occasional Hydra and Zergling, oh, sorry, dies, I think that Zerg has got things well under control. The Overlord coming to have a look. Always nice to see, nothing hindering it. And really, denying enemy scouting should be a little bit higher on the priorities list. Oh, there is a lurker now, just the 1. And, oh, 2 lurkers, a little bit of a choke, a couple of Sunkens, oh dear, and still no medics. So, Bradberg going in for the kill. Scan going off, but 4 lurkers, 2 Sunkens, and supporting units. 5 lurkers. That's quite hard to kill, and the Overlord's still over there, and I don't know what these medics are doing. Having fun, probably. But you can see that Bradberg is taking more and more of the map. Oh, the first ghosts are out already. They haven't got a bit of firepower. But they can, if you got about 10 of them, they can one-shot a Zergling or something. So they are pretty damaging. Oh dear, here we go. We've got the first silo build and flashing already. Still the Overlord. It's seeing everything. There are ghosts and Marines all over the map, but they're not doing anything. And Bradberg is just damn not going to build any medics. And if there are medics, they're going to stroll around. Oh, the medics are there. They are here. All kind of bio upgrades. Medic upgrade, good as well. Oh, some Zerglings got out on the map. But there is a large bio army coming up here. There are way too many lurkers though, so that's going to be an issue. Perhaps we'll see a lurker drop, that might be nice. Scan going off, but this stimmed army marching it straight into the lurkers, and oh god, oh god, oh god. That was quite painful. And Bradberg now just going to build some depots right over here for good measure. And I think that this Hydra might have some issues with those, or no, it's just going to try and reinforce the main base. And I think that Simplicity is playing well, has got a lot of bio on its hand, but with some lurkers and 2 Sunkens, it's doing okay to stop, to hold the tide a little bit. That said, here comes a drop, and another one is flashing. Oh, this one's nuking, but Where is that nuke going to land? Oh, and it just dies in the right nick of time. I thought the nuke was... oh, it's landing here. Well, at least it killed some units, so that's good. And right now, there are way too many Marines coming in. Look at the production tab. 2 nukes, 3 nukes at the time. SCVs, Marines, Ghosts, everywhere. Here, look. And there is an army of hungry Zerglings mopping up Zerg bases. I think that's cute. Bradberg is sending out some force to deal with that, but then again they sort of ignore the rest. Oh, and the Zergling force is in a propinquity of being cleaned up altogether. And 2 SCVs clean up one of the Zerglings. Have they got good upgrades? No, not really. Bio upgrades are coming in, all of them together. Oh, and right now you don't want to be moving about here trying to nuke things. That's just going to be painful. What's this? I think it is, I don't know. Oh, it's an Ultra Cannon. Oh, wow. Because Simplicity has got 4 bases, has got a little bit of an army. And with all the overlords he's got, it's very hard for a Redbird to land a nuke. And even though it's producing a prodigious amount of bio, it's not being applied in the most efficient manner, and you can see so many units dying. Still though, the bio ball is powering through. Lots of lurkers though, but no nukes. And we've got 4. God, there are 4 nukes, but they're just not doing anything. And Simplicity is, for all intents and purposes, holding on for dear life. That's good. Ultras are there. Have they got any upgrades? No, they haven't. Some medics getting killed. Oh, and there was a drop over here, some lurkers. That's completely sort of missed. Taking down a base, I think that's good. And the Terran army is being drawn back and forth because of that. And the Ultra Cloud, oh god, we've got 10 Ultras already, that's a lot of supply. But these lurkers are really doing a number on the production over here and on the units popping out of them. So I think that drop was really worth it. And yeah, interesting. So meanwhile, these Sunkens taking their toll on the units coming out of this base. The bio group is still huge, and the Ultras are still being gathered. Now they're being used, and I think that if this drop play with Ultras is going to continue, good lord, look at that. That is 2 medics on a host of about 30 Marines and 10 Ghosts. And now comes one single Ultra, and it doesn't really like attacking a death squad like that. And the lurkers, I can't really see them on the dark underground, but doing a lot of damage to passers-by, and will be killed eventually. That was sort of worth it. And now the Ultras with the Zerglings and the Hydras are in hot pursuit. There is a large contingent. Oh, there is one lurker. Oh, and nuke completely misses everything, and Overlord just rolls in seconds after it's detonated. And Zerg has got a great army of its own. And is going to clean up these medics. I don't know if there was a nuke over here or just got taken out by melee. And oh, at the bridges, these Terran units are so strong with their upgrades, with their stim, without medics. But who needs medics if you are that many and you're just going to stim the enemy to death? Have we got any nukes? Yes, we've got one. Oh, and now lurkers. Oh, that is actually a pretty good place. And I don't know if Zerg is going to evade that. Perhaps. Oh, that was pretty good. Ah. Oh, and another one. But the Ghost isn't safe, and the nuke gets cancelled. Nukes are going to be built 3 at a time. It will take a while for them to get ready. Lots of damaged Ultras, and the Marine crowd is huge. We've got 100 supply in just bio units. And oh, there is a medic over here, so it's not without medics, but it might take a while to get something done. Oh, and a hatchery's been built right on top of this base. That's always good to see. Zerg did another drop, is taking this base, and with the entire army being caught up over here, I think that Bredberg, oh, the retreating army is suffering a lot of losses because these Marines and Ghosts don't return the fire of the Zerg, and you can see Bredberg losing 40, 50, 60 supply all at once. The Ultras are doing a ton of damage, haven't even got the armor upgrade or the speed upgrade, just by themselves. They are so awesome, and Bredberg, where he had a 100 supply army, even with a production tab like this, is now floundering. It's absolute horror. Oh, and another drop by Simplicity, and of course taking pot shots at the Ghosts coming from this base. And oh dear, the Lurk is taking apart this one as well. Bredberg starting out magnificently, but then completely dropped the ball, and Simplicity breaking out of its contain with a lot of damage and a lot of units. And now Bredberg, what can you do? You can make a lot of stuff, but right now the Zerg production tab looks like this because it's basically maxed. More Ultras coming, and these rallies popping out one at a time versus these very hungry, that's +3, and no armor upgrade, because who needs armor if you have got the map and can produce a lot of units. Wow, that's really insane. All the units all over the map. And this SCV is pretty suicidal. So yeah, right now Zerg's approaching max. No fancy technology, just good straight up play with a lot of devastating drops, and Bredberg just can't manage it. And look at all the... there is Zerg presence is everywhere. Really everywhere. And now converging upon this base are about 10 Ultras. So yeah, that's that. GG, and why did I pick that game? I don't know. So after Crazy Terran versus SSCAIT, I thought, well, I don't know, this was the game I picked myself, so perhaps they got mixed up and I didn't realize I've got too much SSCAIT or a lot of games of SSCAIT, but as it is the undisputed #1 at the moment, I don't really apologize for that. And now Crazio has got the contain up and running, and let's see if SSCAIT has got what it takes to stop it. It's going for a machine shop. Might do well with siege tanks or just a handful of units to try and keep Crazio on the low ground. This is rather ballsy at this point, but with the tank and these constructing cannons. Oh, and now the command center is in range. Siege mode, I think, is prepping. So if the command center lives, yeah, there is the siege mode, and SSCAIT has held. That is good. That's a little bit loud. Terran theme is a bit loud. This is rather Terran. And this one tank is doing a lot of good. Crazio sweeping into the next stage of the game with a little bit of a lead. SSCAIT has been detained a little bit, has been losing some workers. But Crazio will have to restart from basically scratch as well. And while SSCAIT just has cleaned it up, there will be vultures out on the map, and Crazio has only got one goon, one cannon to try and protect the natural. Should be okay, but there are spider mines, so ooh, that's pretty well done. And you should just keep your probe there, because if a probe is running back and forth, some smart Protoss might suspect that there are shenanigans or bases about. Oh, and could have done with a cannon over here. Oh, that's one. And now this cannon stops the Protoss aggression, the Terran aggression right in its track. That is a nice drop by SSCAIT though. One tank, one vulture, shutting down this base, and well, Crazy Protoss hasn't got a single unit. It's going into carriers, but that will likely cost this base over here, and the probes, they don't dare attack this vulture siege tank combo, and the third dies. And that's very expensive. Now SSCAIT will mine up the map. Here comes another drop. If it's not going to be in the main, it's going to be rather costly, but there are carriers out now too, so that is, well, that's okay. SSCAIT though has got wind of it, is building turrets all over the place, has got some Goliaths already, And the tank got dropped over here. I don't think that's the best place, but what do you know? One carrier moving out, going to play with the vultures a bit, but there are just too many vultures, and here come the Goliaths already. That carrier had better run like hell, and there is only, oh, there are two more carriers, but they are going to have their hands full in killing all the Goliaths, and it looks like they are not succeeding, only succeeding in getting themselves killed. Meanwhile, there are a lot of tanks out in natural, and SSCAIT is just, after deflecting the cannon rush, is mopping it up quite professionally. And although, look at how many carriers we've got. And SSCAIT is producing Goliaths for what it's worth. And this will probably be the last battle which will decide it, because if SSCAIT doesn't... Oh, the carriers are splitting up, that's never good. And SSCAIT is going to reinforce the push. And Crazio's carriers are split off from one another, and they can't really pack a punch anymore. SSCAIT is going to pour about 50-60 army supply worth of tanks and Goliaths into the main, killing the next third, and the carriers, their micro and decision making is not as good as, say, that of Ximp. And how many? There are too many Goliaths. It's 24 versus 8 carriers, and that's not really fair. There are tanks on the high ground, and yeah, as they say, that's that. Crazio need to back it up with a little bit of better regular play. And well, did I do that right? Yes, I did. Banana Brain versus Crazio, TSMU Protoss. We'll have one game more after this. So far the games have been really good, and some games have been really bad, but you can't have it all. So, yeah. That is, as they say, that. And TSMU Protoss doing pretty good in Protoss land, just right behind the grave. So let's see how it's going. Oh god. It's going to be cheese again. Now let's see if Banana Brain will be ready for it. Has got a forge, has got some cannons, so I think that if there are going to be Dark Templar out of one gateway, there are not going to be that much of a threat. There are two cannons out over here, a large army, and Banana Brain just playing this straight up, has got a 12 worker lead, has got the expansion populated a little bit better than TSMU. And now these two Dark Templar, they just can't get in. It's 26 versus 20 army supply. And if I'm not very much mistaken, I think that Banana Brain is going for observers as well. Some more cannons just to be sure. That's going to be the observatory. And after this it will just be over, because TSMU with a string of cannons all over the place, and now some gateways. Third base up for Banana Brain already. Banana Brain is doing pretty decent, and this push is really oh, here is the observer, so this push is not really ill-advised. And it's 84 versus 18 army supply, and I think that everywhere fighting is going to happen, that Banana Brain is going to win. The cannons with the 2 DTs, and now the question is, oh, the observer was just AFK. TSMU's base over here is going to be defended by a handful of goons and the Dark Templar, but there is just too much firepower from Banana Brain, and it's 50 versus 24 army supply. That's just not going to work. Another base up, immediately 2 cannons planted down, just in case some DTs do decide to visit. And Banana Brain is mopping it up, or sort of mopping it up. It's not really committed to anything yet. But with 4 versus 2 bases, oh, that was a nice storm, but it sort of didn't really hit. Banana Brain's army is completely off the hook. But there you go, lots of damage. Lots of damage. And TSMU will have a 3rd base, but may just lose the natural. Banana Brain really can't get its stuff together, but now has got a Reaver. And if you bring Reavers to a Zealot fight, it's going to be pretty wild. And of course, wild is a term long coming, because that Reaver will take a while to visit the enemy. But now Banana Brain is just going to streaming units one at a time to try to do damage. And with the eco advantage it's got, oh, the main is already taken out. The Reaver is doing tons of damage. Oh, those are not the probes, but the Zealots have been stasis. And Banana Brain, with good solid play versus the cheesy shenanigans of TSMU, is going to win. And that will bring us to the last game of the day. It's Locutus versus Killerbot. And may the best bot win. So, Locutus, will it play Goons as it always does? Or will it have some special Zerg, Protoss versus Zerg stuff prepped? Hard to say. Killer going for Overlord first. Gets scouted. And the Natural gets scouted as well. So for the time being, nothing too spectacular coming up. Killerbot has got a lot of money, is not really spending it. I don't know why that is. Is it saving for another base? No, it's just going to build another pool. And at this point you might just want to place down another hatch, because then you can build more units. Oh, there it is. So it's a 3 hatch. Wow. It's a 3 hatch play. And Locutus is going for a rather cautious 1 gate, 2 Forge Fast Expand, 1 gate, and that's going to take a while to get off the ground. APM wise, still not doing much. I think that's Goon range. Yes, of course it is. And Killerbot now has got, is going to make the lair over here. Has got quite a nice number of workers for a Zerg, and is now going to build more units, and hopefully some fighting units as well. Because Protoss is going to build some, and right now this one Sunken is not going to, although it's doing a lot of damage, and 2 more Sunkens being built, but they're a little bit late, and these Goons are doing quite a bit of damage already. So, they do get messed up on the bridges, and they're going to walk a circle and take a lot of hits from these 3 Sunkens already. Wow. That's pretty wild. And now Killer is in an okay position, but Locutus has got map control and is taking a 3rd. Killer with a very low army supply, and if these Goons don't suicide as much as they could... Oh, that's some weird error, just trying to walk from here to there through the Sunken field. That's pretty deadly. This base over here has got 4 Sunkens, and Killer is doing okay, as I said, but it hasn't got an... Oh, wow. Has got a lot of hatcheries, is building a lot of Hydras, and that might be a good decision, but let's see how good Hydras do versus the Goons of Locutus. That's certainly going to be an interesting fight. And now the Hydra numbers are being sent, they are not all that high, really. And although the Goons are running, they're also cleaning up Hydras 1, 2 at a time. And lots of Hydras dying. The micro of Locutus is so good. It's 60 versus 30 army supply, and Locutus is exploding on the map. Although the Hydras, they shouldn't have gone after the probes, should have killed the cannons first. But here comes a Goon, and a Goon can sort of pick onto Hydras. Lots of blue soup over here, but damage is being done, no mistake about it. Although Locutus is throwing away 20-30 army supply at trying to breach this 3rd base. I think it's doing okay, and Killer hasn't got any upgrades. So Protoss is upgrading, and Killer is not really mustering a concentration of Hydras. There isn't Storm. So I think that if you got these Hydras better grouped, that they may actually do a lot. And both players are prone to losing small engagement like this. In this corner right now, it's basically, I think, a Killerbot which is getting the shorter end of the stick, because it's losing so many Hydras. You can see hardly Goon is lost. They are getting a bit low. Oh, and some Hydras from the rear, they help clean it up. And some Hydras over there as well. And now Killerbot has got a decent army, but Locutus still has got double the army supply. That's quite impressive. And versus that kind of numerical superiority, you just can't fight as Hydra, especially considering that Protoss is upgrading and Zerg is not. And also with the eco advantage that Locutus has, playing this game, well, not brilliantly, but just basically with only gateway units. And this is going to be the last Sunken, and this base may be under attack. And then the main will be pretty low, or is pretty low. The Hydra train is coming up, but it's just not enough. And these Goons, they are so beautifully microed. They'll just expand and expand, and once the enemy folds, they'll sweep back in and go for the kill. third base completely overrun. It's 100 versus 5 army supply. So it's time to call the GG. This will be the last stand of Killerbot. And we're going to watch that. A couple of lurkers might have been nice, but still lots of goons dying. But occasionally a Sunken will die. And the Protoss has got +2/+2. No shields. But the Sunkens are falling, and Acutus is demonstrating why it is so very, very deadly. Now, that was sort of the end of this broadcast. Got a bit of good games. Saw one game of Crazy Terran. Can't wait for it to hit the server again. Oh yes, that's the good fight. So thank you everyone for coding. Thank you everyone for watching. Keep the games coming. You'll see my address here in the top left. For now, I say thank you for watching and goodbye.